Today we're diving into a historical documentary that unpacks one of the most profound stories of human resilience and moral courage on record. In India's long history, we've seen countless kings and warriors fight massive battles. But honestly, very few stories have echoed across the globe quite like the story of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji and his family. And look, this isn't just a story for one specific community. It's an absolute masterclass in courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to justice. For people of all backgrounds, it stands out as the ultimate example of just standing up for what you believe in. So let's just jump right in. Imagine this, you're a leader and you lose everything, your entire family. But even in the face of all that, you absolutely refuse to surrender your core principles. No way. That's the massive emotional stake of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's story. It really forces us to ask, what are the absolute limits of human endurance? To truly wrap our heads around the heavy weight of this, we've got to understand the incredibly tense world he was navigating.
Now, what's really striking about these events is just how fast they escalated. Picture northern India in the 17th century. It's a time totally dominated by severe religious and political tensions, right? Communities are facing intense hardships and downright persecution. Enter Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Sikh Guru. He held on to one unbreakable belief. Every single human being has the absolute right to live with dignity and practice their faith freely. As we look at this timeline, from creating the Khalsa in 1699 all the way to the intense battles after 1704, keep in mind that this whole chain of events was basically a direct response to oppression.
And that brings us to our first huge milestone. Back in 1699, on the sacred day of Vaisakhi, Guru Gobind Singh Ji created the Khalsa at Anandpur, Sahib. It perfectly defined the ideal of the saint soldier. Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. The Khalsa wasn't created to conquer new lands. It wasn't about building some vast empire. Not at all. It was specifically designed to protect righteousness, defend the weak, and stand like a brick wall against oppression. Guru Sahib was literally calling on people to completely ditch the restrictive bounds of caste and fear. He gave his followers a brand new identity, one that perfectly balanced the deep spiritual purity of a saint with the fierce courage of a warrior.
So you might be wondering, what happens when a community built on those solid principles really starts to grow? Well, the local rulers panicked. They grew deeply afraid of the Sikhs' rising strength and unity, and that fear led straight to the siege of Anandpur Sahib. And guys, this wasn't just some quick skirmish. We are talking about months of severe, agonizing hardship. The Sikh community was dealing with critical shortages, barely any food, barely any supplies, but here's the amazing part. Despite the starvation and the immense pressure cooker they were in, the faith of the Sikhs, completely unbroken.
That crushing pressure brings us to December of 1704. The authorities actually promised safe passage to Guru Sahib and his followers if they just left Anandpur Sahib. But guess what? That promise was broken almost immediately. They were attacked the second they left, and in the sheer, terrifying chaos of that betrayal and the retreat that followed, something tragic happened. Guru Sahib's family was completely separated from one another. That single chaotic moment basically sets the stage for two diverging but equally heroic paths.
Section 1. The Battle of Chamkaur, a stand against the odds.
All right, this brings us to the real climax of the military narrative. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, along with a tiny group of Sikhs, took shelter in a small, fortified house we know today as Chamkaur Sahib. Outside, they were completely surrounded by a massively larger enemy force. Now, historians might debate the exact head counts, but every single source agrees on one undeniable fact. The Sikhs were incredibly, overwhelmingly outnumbered. It's literally the ultimate underdog scenario. Yet, did the spirit of the Khalsa waver? Not for a single second. Right in the middle of this impossible situation, we see this absolutely incredible display of agency. Guru Sahib's elder sons, Sahibzada Ajit Singh Ji and Sahibzada Jujhar Singh Ji, didn't just sit back and wait for the battle to reach them. No, they displayed just extraordinary bravery by actively asking their father for permission to go out and join the fight. I mean, think about that for a second. They knew exactly what the odds were, but they still chose to step up. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji, honoring that saint-soldier identity to the core, blessed his sons and sent them straight into the battlefield.
The outcome of that brave choice is just profoundly moving. Sahibzada Ajit Singh Ji fought with immense courage and attained martyrdom. Right after that, his brother, Sahibzada Jujhar Singh Ji, entered the fray and, fighting just as bravely, also embraced martyrdom. The sacrifice of these elder Sahibzade, especially considering how young they were, is revered all over the world today as one of the most inspiring examples of courage in military history. And what's equally mind-blowing here is that Guru Gobind Singh Ji didn't let his massive personal grief overshadow his duty as a leader. He remained absolutely steadfast, continuing to inspire and lead his Sikhs right through the siege.
Section 2. Sirhind, the courage of the innocent.
Now we really need to shift our focus over to the separated family members. That's Guru Sahib's mother, Mata Gujri Ji, and his two younger sons, Sahibzada Zorawar Singh Ji and Sahibzada Fateh Singh Ji, who had tragically been captured. At Sirhind, these children, who were literally just kids in age, but absolute giants in terms of courage, faced a brutally calculated psychological campaign. First, the authorities demanded they abandon their faith and convert. When the kids flatly said no, the captors dangled promises of incredible wealth and comfort. When that didn't work, they brought out threats of violence to scare them. And finally, when absolutely nothing could break their firm belief, they were handed the ultimate sentence: death.
It is so profound to look at these two paths side by side. On one hand, you have the active, physical courage of the elder sons facing down a massive army on the battlefield. But on the other hand, you've got this completely different yet equally powerful kind of bravery, the courage of the younger sons in captivity. Think about it. They're facing down the full weight of a hostile state, totally unarmed, relying on nothing but their pure inner spiritual strength. Both of these paths just perfectly represent the absolute peak of the Khalsa ideal.
The culmination of this standoff at Sirhind is, without a doubt, one of the most emotional and deeply revered chapters in Sikh history. According to historical accounts and tradition, the younger Sahibzade were bricked alive before being executed. It's heartbreaking. And during these incredibly tragic events, their grandmother, Mata Gujri Ji, also left this world. Today, all around the globe, people hold a deep, deep reverence for these children. Faced with the ultimate terror, they chose their faith and their principles over fear.
Which actually brings us to a huge, pivotal question. We kicked off this explainer by talking about the limits of human endurance, right? So how does a leader respond to the unfathomable loss of his 4 sons and his mother in such an incredibly short, brutal span of time? Honestly, it's a moment where anyone, literally anyone, would be totally forgiven for just giving in to absolute despair, or a blinding desire for revenge.
But the response of Guru Gobind Singh Ji was nothing short of extraordinary. He didn't speak a single word of revenge, no words of despair. Instead, he just continued his journey, rallying the Sikh community to stay completely united. He kept teaching courage, faith, justice, and service to humanity. I mean, the true mark of his leadership is how he took his unimaginable personal tragedy and completely transformed it into a message of universal hope and resilience. He firmly declared that the Khalsa would just keep on standing for righteousness and protecting those in need. He didn't turn inward, he turned outward to serve the world.
And you know what? That level of resilience was highly contagious. The community's spirit didn't break, it actually grew stronger. A really powerful example of this is the Battle of Chamkaur. 40 Sikhs, who are remembered today as the 40 Mukte, or the 40 liberated ones, returned to Guru Sahib. They fought with just total, unwavering devotion and ultimately laid down their lives in battle. It basically proved to everyone that the Khalsa spirit simply could not be crushed by the horrific tragedies of Chamkaur or Sirhind.
To really get to the core of the philosophy driving all of this, we can just look at Guru Gobind Singh Ji's own words. When all other means have failed, it is righteous to draw the sword. That quote just perfectly sums up his entire worldview. For Guru Sahib, the sword was never, ever a symbol of conquest or aggression. It was strictly a tool of last resort, a symbol meant purely for protecting justice and defending the innocent, when literally every peaceful avenue had been exhausted.
And that brings us to the ultimate legacy of this history. Today, over 300 years later, the story of Guru Gobind Singh Ji and the Chaar Sahibzaade is still inspiring millions. And look, their sacrifice isn't remembered because they conquered huge territories or built towering fancy palaces. They're remembered because they showed all of humanity that courage is always, always greater than fear. They proved that faith can stay completely unshaken even in the absolute darkest of times. And they showed us that true greatness, it's about choosing principles over power, no matter what the cost is.
So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with this one thought. The Chaar Sahibzaade stared down empires and executioners without even blinking, completely rooted in their values. When you look at your own life and the challenges that come your way, what principles are you willing to stand up for when faced with your own insurmountable odds? It's a seriously profound question left to us by one of history's most extraordinary families. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep